Según el investigador Nassim Haramein, casi una vez a la semana se crea una singularidad o un agujero negro o agujero de gusano en el Sol, y civilizaciones alienígenas o interdimensionales avanzadas tecnológicamente acceden a nuestro sistema solar a través de estos agujeros negros, Stargates, que son tan grandes e incluso más que el planeta Tierra. Nassim Haramein también dijo que todos los cuerpos celestes, estrellas, planetas, tienen sus Stargates naturales. Por ejemplo, la Tierra, además de poseer de forma natural Stargates en puntos específicos, también tendría un pequeño agujero negro en su núcleo, un Stargate, que es el que genera todas las energías y fuerzas del planeta. Además, dice que algunos de estos Stargates naturales están ubicados en volcanes. Es por esto que hay avistamientos de grandes naves accediendo a dichos puntos. Al igual que los átomos tienen su propia singularidad, cada cuerpo celeste, ya sea una estrella o un planeta, crean un campo de giro, desplazamiento de fase o vórtice de la energía de torsión, lo que crea un Stargate o portal dimensional. Los cuerpos celestes como las estrellas, los soles o un planeta poseen un campo magnético que crean estos vórtices, Stargates. Ahora, con esta información podemos comprender mejor por qué los antiguos adoraban al Sol y el porqué de esta obsesión y la deificación o la adoración del Sol, y por qué decían que los dioses venían de las estrellas u otros soles o del cielo. A continuación veamos lo que dijo Nassim Haramein en una de sus interesantes conferencias sobre estos Stargates y hallazgos arqueológicos que lo corroboran.
House came to me with these pictures a few months ago and kind of threw me for a loop. I was just amazed to find these pictures. These pieces, they are the first pieces I've seen in archaeology that so descriptively seem, here in this piece, for instance, first of all, the piece look very much like the vehicle that is portrayed on it. So the piece itself. And, this is very, very distinct physics that we know of. This is very much a description of what we call a wormhole in physics, which is a consequence of Einstein field equations, first worked out by John Wheeler. And what's really remarkable here, first of all, these pieces, usually in many of the pieces that Klaus and I have been looking at for some 20 years or 25 years, there's a certain amount of interpretation that has to be done, a certain amount of decoding. So basically, usually there's a certain amount of interpretation that has to happen, but here there's no interpretation needed. It's pretty clear. This is obviously a spaceship that is coming out of what we call a wormhole. And what was really exciting for me is that, in standard physics, when we came up with the mathematic for a wormhole in standard physics, when it's possible to travel through wormholes. Spin at high velocity can open the mouth of a wormhole. Spinning, and that is opening a mouth for the spaceship to come out. Here we have an even more amazing piece. And you are all some of the first ones to see these pieces. Again, we have a solar system. Here is a planet with an atmosphere. This planet with an atmosphere must be the Earth. We can assume it's the Earth, but it's definitely a planet with an atmosphere. There's a ship here and a ship here. There's a nice little blow-up of what's inside the dome of the ship, in case you're confused about what it is. And this is as well, you can see the steps here, typical of, pyramidal step pyramids. We can see that this ship is following a comet that is coming at the Earth, or at least at the planet that's here. And you can see that this UFO, right, which you can see is moving at high velocity, is doing something to push the comet. So this could be a representation of an event either in our past or in our future. This is Again, we have a solar system. The sun is very clear here. We have a planet with an atmosphere. We have another planet here, and we've got an ascending ship here, another one down there, and then one inside the sun flare. As you will see in my conference, I'm going to show you the mathematics and the reason why it may be appropriate to think of the sun as a doorway to travel through our through our galaxy and even in our universe. And the ancient people always called it.
Sorry.
So here we see a UFO coming out of the sun. It's very specific. Here we have another piece. This piece is really interesting. I have a picture of the whole piece. We can see the stairways on the side here. Carefully again, we have a spaceship coming out of the sun. This must be Saturn. Then there's another planet there. Around the UFO, around the object, we have little windows with little guys with big eyes looking out of the little windows that are inlays inside the piece itself. And here we are probably seeing a representation of the field structure that the UFO or the spaceship is creating. They're giving us a clue about how to build the space drive. The wormhole, to spin the wormhole and open it, you must have a drive that is spinning the field. Here we have being on Earth that is pointing at the stars. He's holding one of those objects in his hands. He's pointing at either a planet or a star. It could be a planet, but we can see again the comet team, very, very prominent on all these pieces, the comet with, you know, objects in it, and then a UFO over the head. And just to link that with something that makes sense maybe to you, okay, that was the last one.
Yeah.
You know, there is an increase in solar activity at this time in history. There's an increase in comet gazing, solar comet, and all sorts of objects entering our solar system. So, you know, this might be pieces that are telling us about this time in history.